Good evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, Shashi Tharoor, all praise for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, telling us in an interview that Modi as PM has been amazingly gracious and accommodating. Within hours, the Congress calls it Shashi Tharoor's personal view. Has Modi stumped his critics in his new avatar as Prime Minister? That's our big debate tonight. Well, Shashi Tharoor has been effusive in his praise for the new Prime Minister, telling NDTV that while he can't be called a Modi fan, it would be churlish not to acknowledge Modi's efforts to reach out to all. Here's a small extract of that interview which I did earlier today, in which Tharoor asserted in fact that his party was okay with what he was saying. Well, clearly they're not, because about an hour later they called it his personal view. Take a look. Mr. Tharoor, you have been, as I said, full of praise for Mr. Modi since the general election result, and in your piece in the Huffington Post, almost effusive in your praise. Can we say that you are now officially a Modi fan?
No, I'm afraid you can't. In fact, I've been a bit intrigued by the paraphrases of my piece that I've seen in the Indian media. It looks like people don't actually tend to read every word and every nuance. For example, when I said that Mr. Modi is trying to remake himself as an avatar of progress and development, suddenly it says Tharoor says he is an avatar of progress and development. I think there are some real differences here. But having said that, let me clarify that, as the piece very clearly explains, Mr. Modi is somebody who for a dozen years we've had good reason to attack and criticize very severely. Ever since the 2002 riots, his speeches and statements that have followed, the positions he has taken, we have been extremely concerned about what Mr. Modi represents and his aspirations and ambitions on coming to Delhi. What has been a pleasant surprise for the likes of me is the way in which he has actually conducted himself and spoken after his election. From the moment of his victory, he has been amazingly gracious and accommodating, particularly in the language of what he has said and in the tone that he has used, and that I felt it would be churlish not to acknowledge. For example, when he says that he would be Prime Minister of everyone, including those who haven't voted for him, that he would want to serve all Indians, specifically singling out the poor, the sort of constituencies that he has not, in fact, had the support of in the election. It was a clear effort to reach out, and that reaching out, I felt, needed to be acknowledged. But at the same breath, I've said, this may be the evolution of a Modi 2.0. But if Modi 1.0 re-emerges, we will certainly robustly oppose him. The duty of an opposition, it seems to me, is to stand up for the national interest, not to oppose for the sake of opposing everything that the government says or does.
Mr. Tharoor, is your party, the Congress party, okay with this praise of Mr. Modi? Because your innocuous tweets in the past have got you into trouble with the party. So they're okay with this?
Well, look, I still haven't been fired as a spokesman, so I'm assuming the party is okay with it. Look, the truth is that the party has various nuances. I think many of the other spokesmen with whom I've discussed this approach have understood it and have appreciated it. I was actually the official briefer for the party yesterday, Thursday, and Wednesday. And on this day, I actually made it a point both to refer to my acknowledgement of Mr. Modi's 2.0 avatar, and at the same time to criticize him when I felt criticism was justified, and including, by the way, making the remark about his direct meetings with secretaries, which has also made the news today. No one seems to see that you can see all of this as one integrated vision. Our public commentary in the media takes things out of isolation, blows them up in order to create controversies and TRPs. But there is actually a coherent strategy at work here, and I'd be grateful if you would see it.
The views expressed by Mr. Shashi Tharoor about Mr. Modi and his government are his personal views. As a party, it is too early to comment on the working of the government. Let the government work.
Well, you can watch that full interview with Shashi Tharoor at 8:35 this evening. But let's go straight to our panel tonight. And my first question is to Senior Congress Leader, Mr. Manishankar Iyer. Mr. Iyer, the Congress was quick, in fact, to distance itself from Mr. Tharoor's remarks. Why is that? Because he basically seemed to say that, you know, I am praising him for the good work that he's doing. At the same time, we need to be an alert opposition, and we shouldn't oppose just for the sake of opposing, that we should be a constructive opposition. What was wrong with that?
Because not all of us can be quick change artists. Modi has been in office for 10 days. And here is a man jumping to conclusions in next to no time. I don't understand it. I'm afraid as a congressman of long standing, as distinct from a congressman of 5 years standing, I feel offended, but that's his personal view. He's welcome to have it.
Those are pretty strong words, Mr. Iyer. So you believe that Shashi Tharoor has changed his stand and is prematurely judging Mr. Modi and heaping praise on him?
That's what I call a hole-in-one, yes.
And you seem actually pretty angry, more than offended right now.
It's for you to make judgments and think up adjectives. I'm neither angry nor offended. I'm just very deeply disappointed that an intelligent man like Shashi Tharoor should want to rush to judgment in this manner and come out with these effusive remarks after having been, presumably, I don't know Malayalam, using abusive remarks a few weeks ago.
All right, so pretty strong words or opening comments there from you, Mr. Iyer. Let me take that to Ashok Malik and to Aarti Jairath, our commentators here in the studio. Ashok, now we've heard Mr. Tharoor and his rather unusual words of high praise for Mr. Modi, which has been happening for a couple of weeks and has taken a new dimension in the last couple of days. And now Mr. Iyer very publicly, very strongly saying he's disappointed and offended by that praise.
Well, for a start, this does prove that Mr. Modi is a very divisive character. He's divided the Congress's St. Stephen's College Alumni Association. Quite, but frankly, I did read Mr. Tharoor's article. Mr. Tharoor, whatever he may claim about nuance and all of that, frankly, he is a political leader. He's not just an op-ed writer. So words coming out of his pen or his computer word processor and of an ordinary analyst's word processor will be interpreted differently. I read the article for all his protestations of nuance. It was a little unsubtle because he is a gifted writer. He knows what he says and how he puts it. It was a little unsubtle, and it has led to questions as to why he is being so almost over the top in seeking to recognize merit in Mr. Modi. As for Mr. Modi having changed, if you followed Mr. Modi's career in Gujarat, he's been a pugnacious, aggressive, flamboyant campaigner, and almost immediately after the election, when he goes into office, he becomes a sober, businesslike, and even gracious chief minister. Even in 2012 or 2007, I can't remember, I think it was 2012, he went to meet Kesubhai Patel straight after, I think 2012, straight after the election was won. He went to meet his rival, Kesubhai Patel. He's done this earlier. And those who followed Mr. Modi with an open mind rather than a blinkered vision would not see any surprise.
Why do you think he's going then over the, you think it's over the top praise? Why do you think he's doing it? I mean, is it that? Is it over the top praise, or is it like I asked him in the interview later, that in India we're not used to a political culture of, you know, conciliation and constructive opposition? You know, we've seen very bitter opposition in recent years.
Mr. Tharoor has made a dramatic shift in just a few days, which is what is surprising. So which is what, I'm not disagreeing with his comments to Mr. Modi has behaved graciously. I agree with that. And I expected him to behave graciously, which Mr. Tharoor probably didn't. But I am surprised at the dramatic shift, and that has certainly led to a lot of people wondering what his motivations may be.
Aarti, are you also surprised? Do you see it as a dramatic shift, or do you see it as someone who's trying to be gracious, or is it a little too gracious, over the top?
His choice of words is a little surprising, you know. He's talking about Modi trying to recreate his image in modernity and progress, and, you know, I mean, it sounds really effusive. And while, you know, I mean, the fact is that Modi has been in power, has been in office for just 10 days. And in those 10 days, of course, he's done some very interesting things and some things which should be appreciated. For instance, the invitation to the SAARC leaders was a very good idea. His 10-point agenda is good. His attempts to instill confidence in the bureaucracy, I think it's good. But there are some disturbing things as well, Nidhi. Recently, we've had a spate of very disturbing comments from BJP MPs. The Pune MP, for instance,
which Shashi Tharoor actually has pointed out.
No, but Modi has kept silent. Modi has kept silent. We had that Assam MP, you know, sort of virtually issuing an ultimatum to Bangladeshi migrants. You know, Modi has kept absolutely silent. This is a man who tweets on every issue. But Modi has kept very silent on those issues, and I think that's disturbing. That on, you know, while he while, you know, good governance is all about addressing the economy and, you know, sort of getting, you know, the administration going, but it's also about addressing Indian society and addressing issues that can cause social tensions. And I find Modi's silence on that a little disturbing.
But let me take this to Amir Raza Hussain. Amir Raza Hussain, I think the point that Shashi Tharoor was trying to make is that he believes that there are legitimate criticisms that he still holds of Mr. Modi, the past, of riots, his style of functioning. He says, I don't disassociate myself from that. But if after the 16th of May he has conducted himself in a certain way and he has made an attempt which he believes is sincere to reach out to people, I'm not going to be churlish about it and not acknowledge it. And he says it's churlish to not acknowledge it. How would you respond to that?
You know, I really want to say that certainly Modi has brought a certain energy and he's brought a certain freshness to governance in Delhi, and he is really seems to have captured the imagination of the public from small attempts to make sure officers are on time to 100% FDI in defense. All this is going very well, but in terms of inclusiveness, I have not found Mr. Modi making any positive statement which is inclusive, and at the same time I must say that I have not found Mr. Modi making any statement that is exclusive or that is aimed at hurting the sentiments of a particular community or alienating a particular community. But 20 days is hardly any time to judge a Prime Minister. I think 2 months down the line, I think after the budget session would be really the best time to have this discussion. Now, whereas we have Mr. Modi's 20-day period to judge him from, we also have his 15-year period as Chief Minister to judge him from. So actually at the moment we are all a bit confused.
No, but wouldn't you at least acknowledge that, you know, if something is done that is praiseworthy, like Aarti Jarat was saying, the invitation to SAARC countries, leaders, for instance.
I absolutely say that.
So give praise where it's due, because let's face it, no one is being scrutinized as a leader more than Mr. Modi is in a very long time. He's being scrutinized at every level, constantly, for a long time.
No, but I'm saying that. I started off by saying that he has brought an energy and a freshness to governance which we have not seen for a very long time. In fact, we have not seen possibly from the time Rajiv Gandhi first took over as Prime Minister. There is great euphoria in the country, but at the same time, a word of caution, 20 days is not enough. And
okay.
The past record is not great.
All right, Siddharth Nath Singh of the BJP, you can weigh on in this on this debate now. Firstly, do you welcome Shashi Tharoor's high praise for Mr. Modi, or are you also raising an eyebrow and wondering why so much goodwill?
Right, Nidhi, I had it's my bite which has been running on many channels that I had welcomed what Shashi Tharoor had said, and let me again say on your channel we welcome it, and it's good that he has felt there is a Narendra Modi ji as a Prime Minister who is inclusive, he is accommodative, and he is taking things forward in the name of good governance and development. But let me put also what Amir Raza Hussain ji is saying. You see, there is a change which needs to be brought in this country. Inclusiveness is what Narendra Modi ji is saying, we'll work for 125 crore Indians. When you talk only for a particular community, it is exclusiveness, not inclusiveness. Let's start talking about 125 crore. It is inclusive. And that is what Narendra Modi ji is saying, and that is what Shashi Tharoor has appreciated. I can understand the pain of Mr. Manishankar Iyer ji, because he's been an old congressman and he feels pained, he feels hurt, because there is a new era which is emerging in India. There was a Nehruvian consensus, and now the India is welcoming Modivian consensus. So we have moved toward it, and things do need change. And there is only one thing which is constant, that is change, and it is happening, and we all are welcoming it. And let me also add, what Narendra Modi ji stood for last 12-13 years, the India has voted for that. So therefore to say his past is not good of 12-13 years, then I'm sorry, you are not respecting the mandate given by the voters in India, or you are undermining the voters and say they have made a wrong call because his past was not okay.
But Siddharth, would you at least acknowledge the point?
People have voted for him.
Would you acknowledge the point that others also make on the panel, which is that it may be too early to pass a judgment on this government? You know, it's only about 10-12 days old. We need some time. Either way, good, bad, ugly, you know, it needs to be given some time. And TV channels are guilty of it as well. We're doing 1 week anniversaries, 2 week, there'll be 1 month, 100 days, you know, we know the drill. Yes.
I am, well, let me put this, I am on board. I do take that people, you know, 10-12 days is too short, but nevertheless, people are realizing and they are willing to make comments and make suggestions that there is a new Narendra Modi ji as a Prime Minister, and they were basically the critics. On your panel, I have so many times sparred with Aarti, a good friend of mine. And the other day we were on another channel and I saw Vinod Mehta ji, you know, praising Narendra Modi ji. So through his work, through his style, restricting himself only to what is required to be said, people are appreciating, and I think that's a good change.
Okay,
and
so
we feel happy about it.
Let me take that to Mr. Iyer. Mr. Iyer, you know, Shashi Tharoor was also at pains to say that, look, I have raised objections to certain comments that were irresponsible, that were made, whether it was on Article 370, the Common Civil Code, illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. He also says that, you know, the complaints and issues that he's had with Mr. Modi in the past remain, but that it would be churlish not to at least acknowledge his efforts to reach out to all. What would you say to that?
I think it demonstrates great immaturity, that on the basis of the man, according to Tharoor, not having tripped up in 10 days' time, that therefore we should now stop being churlish. It's my job as a member of the opposition to keep a red alert on a man whose past record does not inspire confidence in me. I expect Siddharth to say what Siddharth said. But when Shashi Tharoor overtakes Siddharth, then I really ask myself, why is he standing on a Congress platform?
Okay, but that's again a very strong comment to make. You feel that in a sense that when he's saying that he's trying to indulge in some conciliatory politics, that he doesn't want to oppose for the sake of opposing, that is this something that we're not used to?
Opposing for the sake of opposing?
He gave the BJP's example.
I'm not suggesting that you oppose for the sake of opposing, but I do say that you do not rush into fulsome praise for the sake of rushing in for fulsome praise. This kind of chameleon politics is, I think, utterly undesirable, and it is the job of the opposition to be vigilant and not to just overtake the sycophants in the kind of language that is used to praise them. Modi 2, Modi 1, Modi 3,